Hey everybody, welcome here to Musicians Edition. I'm Evan on the guitar, and in this video we're going to be talking about slash chords. So slash chords are those funky looking chords where you have a letter, a slash, and then another letter. You might have seen those coming up in songs you're trying to learn. They're pretty easy once you get the hang of it. They can also come up on piano, any other instruments, but we're going to be talking about them on the guitar here. The idea here is we have our chord, the full chord we're going to be playing. That's the left of the slash. And then the one on the right of the slash is going to be a bass note we add in. That could be another note, a part of the chord, or just a totally separate note that we're not already playing. The idea is that it has to be anything other than just the root note, because then we're just playing the root note again as the lowest one. So we're going to come across these when we're playing a chord on where the root note is either on the A string or on the D string. And then what we do is we just play one extra note below those strings as our bass note. So for example, I could be playing an A minor chord, and for that one I don't play the low E string. I just play these 5 strings. But I can go ahead and make this a slash chord by just playing this low E string on top of that, and now I've made an A slash E chord. Because I'm playing the full A chord, that's the part that goes on the left of the slash. And now I'm adding in one extra note to it that's below it as a bass note that is not my root note. So A is now not my lowest note, but it is actually this E here. So that would be A slash E. So I can also do this by playing a C chord. So my regular C major shape on the 3rd fret, 2nd fret, skip a string, then go 1st fret, regular C major shape. Again, another chord where my lowest string I'm playing is the A string, which is where that C is found. I'm not playing low E, but to make this a slash chord, I could do a couple things. I could just strum it with low E, and now I've made a C slash E. Or something that's pretty common is I could do a G right below that. Since I have one extra finger, I'm only fretting with 3, I can put this pinky to work. And let's go ahead and do a C slash G chord. Instead of just regular C, I'm strumming this low E with my finger on the 3rd fret. That is G with the regular C major shape below that. And that is now C slash G. And that's what I find to be the most common way that I play these slash chords is I'm playing the 5th below where the root note is. So really just the fret right below where my root note is. So for C, I added in G, because those are both on the 3rd fret, and I just pressed that one right below C there. For A, we did open A with open E. That's another really common one, A slash E. Playing on D, an open chord on D, I could just add in an A by strumming with that A along with that full D chord. Or anywhere across the guitar, I could be doing that same thing where I really just add in the 5th right below my root note. That's the most common way I do see these. So that 5th is the most common, but it could really be any note, just kind of whatever fits with the song. And the purpose of this is to add a bit more depth to the chords, but most frequently it's to have smoother transitions between your chords. For example, if you're playing a lot of chords that are lower, like low E, F, or G, things that use this low E string, it might sound like a big jump if you jump up to like a D chord or an A chord or a B chord without using that lowest string. So something to make that chord blend in and transition a bit better is by putting in that slash, that extra bass note, by including that low E string or including that A string as well too. So smooth transitions, a bit more depth, that's going to be the purpose of these. Let's go ahead and look at some examples of different kinds of slash chords, and then we'll go ahead and play a song that uses them too.
This lesson is brought to you by the Musicians Edition practice book. Make goals and keep track of progress throughout the whole year. When you're done with this video lesson, don't forget to mark this practice time in your Musicians Edition practice book. Now back to the video.
So just to visualize this, we do have a standard chord. A standard chord uses our 1, 3, and 5 notes. When just using a slash chord, we're just putting one extra note below where our regular chord starts. So that is the slash chord again. To the left is our chord, to the right is the extra bass note we add in. So our example with C, a standard C plays notes C, E, and G. We make it a slash, and for example, a slash or C/G, we put in one extra G below that. So that's what we did with this C/G chord here. We played G just below our C chord. That's the idea with all these. So let's go ahead and practice these ones. So we've talked about those ones that use the fifths below. Our examples here would be, again, that C/G. Here's the picture of it. Regular C chord shape with a G below it. You can see the notes written in there on that chord. Other example we talked about was A/E. We can also do an A minor/E. So here's regular A/E, just a regular A chord with that low E played as well too. So here that is. A minor/E, same idea, A minor chord with the low E played. And going up a string again, we can play a D chord, regular D, but now we can play this as a D/A. So we're gonna go ahead and add in this A chord here, or this A string here below our D chord. We can also do a D minor/A. Same idea, just D minor shape with that A also played below it. And those are the combinations that we'll see typically of the fifth being played below our root note. But other examples, we can also include the third. So the third below our root note, let's look at 3 examples of that. So we could be playing a D/F sharp. So let's go ahead and put our regular D chord shape. And now we're gonna find that F sharp to add in, which we're gonna get on the 2nd fret of the E string here. Kind of tricky to have to sneak your finger up there. If you're able to do it, you can. I use my thumb for that one, so I'm going to fret this low F sharp with my thumb while I play that D major shape up here with my 3 fingers. All right, so that one takes some practice if you're not used to using your thumb with chords, but that's probably the easiest way to do that one. And again, for that one, our D major shape, the 3 notes is D, F sharp, and A. So we're using our third, which is F sharp right there below that D chord. Another one is C/E. So E is the third in that C major chord. So we practice that one just by playing this low E string openly with the C major shape. Here's that one. And our last one like this, we're gonna look at G/B. So we want a G chord and we want to find a B that we can put below it. And here is that example, G/B. The B we're going to find is going to be on the 2nd fret of the A string. And then with these rest of these 4 strings, we're going to put together a G chord, which we can do by fretting the 3rd string here, fretting the 3rd fret of the high E. So I'm going to play that with my pinky. And then I just need my index finger to get to the 2nd fret of the A string. Everything else is going to be open. So that's G/B, a G chord with a B as the root note. And the last one like this, we're going to look at an F/A. In the F major chord, we have F/A/C. A is that 3rd one. So we can go ahead and play an F chord with an A below it. We're going to go ahead and strum open A with an F chord that we're going to play with 1st fret here on these 2 high strings. Let's bar those 2 with our index finger. And then we're going to go ahead and do middle finger on the 2nd fret of that next string. And then we're going to go ahead and do our ring finger or pinky, whatever's more comfortable, on the 3rd fret of that next string above. A string played openly. That is F/A. So those are all of our examples using a 5th below, a 3rd below, one of those notes that's included in the chord. You could also do examples of a note that's not included in the chord. Just make sure it's ideally in the scale or, sounds good together. But these are common ways that we use those. And we're going to go ahead and tackle one song that uses slash chords as well too. There's a whole bunch of them, a lot of rock songs. Again, they're all over to help with these transitions between chords. We're going to look at David Bowie's Space Oddity. All right, so for Space Oddity, what we're going to look at is the intro and then the first verse to this one. Both use slash chords in a pretty similar progression. What we're going to do first is for the intro is just go back and forth between two chords. One's a slash chord, one's a regular chord. For our slash chord, it's going to be an F major 7 slash C. So think about that one. Where can we play an F major 7 and where can we play a C below it? So the C we're going to play below it is going to be 3rd fret of the A string, our typical C we usually play. We're going to put together an F major 7 chord with these higher 4 strings. We're going to do that by playing 3rd fret, 2nd fret, 1st fret, and then open on the high E. So it's really a 3, 3, 2, 1, 0. We're not going to strum the low E here. So we're going to play like this, F major 7 slash C. There it is, F major 7 with that C below it. And then we're just going to go to an E minor. E minor we're going to play with open E, just fretting these 2 strings here, typical E minor shape. Back and forth between those 4 times. So each one's going to get played 4 times. Just these 2 chords. 4 times total. That's our intro. Pretty easy. Switching between these chords is not super easy because the typical E minor shape, we play that with our middle and our ring fingers, and so there's no like common placements of the strings you can kind of use as your anchor to move. Every finger is doing something totally different as we change between these. A little hack for this though is you can just lift up your index and your middle finger and just slide your ring finger and pinky fingers over to the 2nd fret. They're already on the 3rd fret to play this. Just slide them over to the 2nd like this. So here's that movement right here. I press all these down for F major 7 slash C. I lift up these 2, slide. That's it. Slide, slide back, slide. Just like that. That's how we can make that transition much easier instead of picking up all your fingers and moving them around. That's a way we can get away with it here. So again, that's it. Strumming pattern, we're not going to worry about too much. You can always listen along to the song, but it's something like this as we go back and forth. Kind of back and forth like that. That is our intro. Both those chords just back and forth 4 times total. And then we're going to go ahead and look at our verse where we're going to use some of those same chords but add in some others as well too. So for the verse, we're going to start off, this whole loop we do here is going to repeat twice. What we're going to do first is play C slash G, another slash chord we've already practiced. So we're going to make that C major chord. We're going to put that G below it here. Here's our shape. There it is, 3, 3, 2, open, 1, open. Really nice chord, C slash G. We're going to go back and forth with that and that E minor again. 2 times, not 4, but 2 times. So we're gonna go C slash G to E minor, C slash G to E minor. All right, and this one works really well for our slash chords because we like having that extra low string to make that a smoother transition between these 2 chords. Instead of starting at E, we add in that G so it's a fuller chord, kind of matches the sound of the E minor as we go back and forth. There's our 2 chords, back and forth 2 times, and then we go over to a regular A minor shape. Regular A minor, no slash. And what we're gonna switch this over to, this is gonna be in the middle of the bar. We're gonna switch it over to an A minor 7 slash G. Sounds complicated. Not terribly hard. What we're gonna do is change this A minor to an A minor 7 by picking up our ring finger. So now we just have the 2 open 1, pick up that ring finger, and we're gonna have it jump to G, right there, 3rd fret of the E string. We're going to play this chord now as an A minor 7/G. Make sure you're getting a clean sound. Again, that movement is just ring finger from its spot here, 2nd fret, jump it up to G right there. We're going to play it like this. Okay, one more time. Okay, and that's that movement. So we're going to finish this off. We got one more chord to our loop to this one here for the verse. Our last chord is going to be a D/F sharp. We already practiced this one. This is where our thumb gets involved. It's a kind of tricky movement, but once you get used to it, I found it's not terribly hard. Going from that A minor 7/G, we want to put our thumb down on the F sharp here, and we're going to make that D major shape down here at the bottom with our 3 fingers. There's the chord box. Here's how you play it. I find myself, especially as I'm doing this quickly, my thumb kind of goes over the A string and has it be muted. That's not so bad. You're still playing all the notes of your chord, so you really could play this A string open or muted. You know, just don't worry so much about that part of it. Just get to this chord change quicker by doing whatever you can with your thumb to press down on that F sharp. That's the most important part here to get that D/F sharp. So get comfortable with that chord. And get comfortable with that transition of this little section here. A minor to A minor 7/G over to D/F sharp. Okay, one more time. Tough transition. Practice it and you'll get better though, just like that. We're gonna go ahead and play this full verse loop. So what we have is the 2 times of C/G, E minor, so that's gonna be total C/G, E minor, C/G, E minor. A minor and A minor 7/G split their chord or split their bar, so they only get half the time as the others. And then we go into this D/F sharp at the end. So here it is all together. And then we play that one more time. And then that is our full verse. We do 2 loops through of that full section there. So our entire song that we've got so far is the intro and the verse, and that's where we're going to end it for today because that gives us the idea of these slash chords. So full thing, we're going to have the intro of F major 7/C to E minor 4 times. Boom, 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 4 times. And then for the verse, they go back to back. We're going to switch over and now go to that C/G to E minor. 2 times. C/G, E minor, C/G, E minor. And then A minor and A minor 7/G, that transition, and we finish it off on D/F sharp. We play that whole thing for the verse twice, and that makes up the full verse there. Bit of a handful. Keep those chord shapes down. Make sure you remember them. Go ahead and practice along to the song. And I'm going to go ahead and play this one time all the way through so you can hear it. Here it is. And that is it for us here. That is Slash Chords. That is Space Oddity by David Bowie. That is a good example of a rock song that uses slash chords. I hope this was great practice for you to have a better understanding of these chords. Now you can go ahead and read those and know how to play them much better now. So you've added that to your repertoire. Have fun playing, and we will see you next time here at Musicians Edition.